trauma insurance. First of all, what is it?
Well, trauma insurance is a lump sum payment on specific diagnosis of a condition or a disability, usually a significant illness. It's a really, really good product to help alleviate the financial impact of a condition, an illness. And it's not governed by any income, so you don't have to have an income. It's not like an income protection, and you don't necessarily have to be to the extreme where you are permanently disabled or terminally ill. But it is paid out specifically around diagnosis and around a more significant or serious condition.
Barbara Lee, this is very different to terminal illness that you've spoken of in other times.
That's right. This is a more immediate payment. This is like an everyday event, isn't it? Cancer, heart attack, stroke, those types of diagnoses. So a good comprehensive cover will cover you for about 43 plus conditions. So it's giving good cover for those everyday events. For a female, our biggest risk is cancer. So maybe a breast cancer diagnosis. And we have a 3-step process to it, where we have an early diagnosis payment, full trauma payment, and then we've also got these severe trauma payments. So little buckets of money that come in as people need them.
Buckets of money are fabulous.
Yeah.
So it's really very different to what we've talked about with the terminal. So Hank, this is you don't have to be terminally diagnosed.
No, not at all. The criteria is you still have to be alive after 14 days of diagnosis, so that helps. But it is specific around the diagnosis. So I'll give an example. We know that from historical data that more than 80% of female claims on trauma are cancer related, one way or another.
Hence what Barbara Lee was saying.
Yeah. For males, more than 85% of trauma claims are cancer or heart related. So I'll give you an example around cancer. If you have a very small melanoma that we often get and the doctor just cuts it out there and then, that's not going to warrant a $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 claim. So you need to reach melanoma at a certain depth and certain severity before you get a claim. So there are certain aspects that need to get to a stage before each of the various claims are made. Like early cancer stage would be very early, and it would be a smaller amount of capital sum that you get. Then you get a full trauma. There are now an option for what we call a severe trauma. Historically, what's happened in the past is that trauma claims have become easier and easier to claim. Number one, because it's more competitive within the life companies. So they say, hey, you should use our trauma because actually we've lowered the standard and you can claim earlier. Yeah. The other aspect is medical technology has advanced. So we now know that we can now identify some illnesses or ailments at a much earlier stage, and therefore the trauma's paid a lot earlier. So the problem with that is more claims, more cost to the life insurance company. So what do they do?
Premiums go up.
The premiums are up. Of course they do. So what we now have available is a trauma that's paid on a far greater severity, and therefore is cheaper because it's harder to claim.
Okay. Barbara Lee, do you have to have life insurance coupled in with this?
No, you don't. Not at all.
You
can have it. Right. No, it can be standalone product. And it's really important too, if you've got a current trauma policy, that you get that reviewed. Because we have access to ratings for the different products. For example, as Hank said, as a male, your biggest risk is cancer and heart. Well, you wouldn't want a C rating for a heart attack definition. You'd want to make sure that the definitions are going to meet the client's needs. So for females, really great ratings for cancer, and for guys, cancer and heart attack. So somebody might be sitting there with an old policy that may not work so well at claim time.
So we review. I had trouble getting that out, but we'll review what, every 2 years? Or
yeah, still product review for clients. If you've got an existing trauma policy, how does that stack up to what's on offer today?
And the neat thing is you don't charge for these reviews.
No.
No, we don't.
No, there's no fees for our services, which is great.
No, it's good. Coming back to the trauma, I've got stroke coming through my mind all the time too. I wonder, is stroke the sort of thing you're looking at?
Absolutely. So a stroke is covered under trauma, but there needs to be a degree of severity or permanent disability within that stroke before a payment's made. So once again, you could have a mild stroke and it has no impact and no effect whatsoever. You feel a bit ill or something's gone wrong, you go to the doctor and the doctor says you've had a mild stroke. No problem at all. We put you on a medication to help control that, and there's no financial impact and no disability. So
but if it's severe and you've got one side of your face paralysed and you can't use your one arm.
It's based on a percentage of permanent disability. So the first payment is made at 25% permanent disability on a normal standard sort of trauma. 25% of permanent disability, and you would get a payment.
This is totally, once again, totally different to your health insurance, not health insurance, sorry, your sort of accident and illness.
Yes, that's right. As Hank said, it's a lump sum product. It's just designed that when moments in life happen, that, knock our socks off a bit, we want to be able to have that ability to focus on getting better without any financial worries.
So farming, you get a lump sum and you can hire somebody and you can sit in your lazy boy and say, have you cleaned out under the woolshed?
Yeah, there are better products for farmers.
Yeah.
I think around their business, I think there's much better ways of doing that. But where it's particularly good could be the farmer's wife who perhaps doesn't earn an income and yet requires to have some home help, to have some care while the farmer's out milking cows doing what he does. So in that particular case, it might be more pertinent for the wife or who's at home who does the accounts and that sort of thing, to have some trauma cover. That's
just to take all that stress away.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because stress is the major thing, and I mean you spend all day talking to people, and your aim is to take the stress out of their lives.
Absolutely. We're definitely there at claim time to help our clients through those times, and putting funds there, it gives them choices. They can have someone in to, look after the home or
The children.
Yeah. Go to the hospital in a taxi if they want. It's things that make it easy for them. Everybody's different to what they want and need, but it's just making it easier.
So big package, you're basically looking at a range of products.
Yeah, you are, and it depends on their circumstances.
Exactly.
Trauma is particularly good for financial assistance for people who aren't earning money, and that could be wives, that could be students, it could be
anybody who's not
retired.
taking out of their business.
And
Yeah,
children, Hank.
And children.
And children. They claim all the time for traumas. What happens if a child has an event and the rescue helicopter comes in and takes them to Starship? They're going to get looked after beautifully, but the parents have to fund lost income and travel cost, accommodation cost, and this is where that money comes in for those times too.
You can do that for children.
Oh yes, the whole family needs to be covered. It's so important.
There's some quite good benefits around trauma that give free trauma for children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there are some really good options out there.
Well, thank you, because there's obviously you're going to be taking a lot of stress out of a lot of people's lives, and thank you very much indeed.